Hello everyone, welcome to the world of Python Pandas data frames. Today we are learning about Pandas data frames. In CBSE curriculum under Unit 1 we are having this section data handling using Pandas and data visualization, and there we are covering data handling using Pandas 1, in which we are learning about creation of data frames from dictionary of series, from list of dictionaries, text or CSV files, and how to display the data frames. Later on we learn about the iteration, operations on rows and columns, how to add, delete, select and rename rows and columns, head and tail function, and indexing using labels. After completing this session you will be able to know what is a data frame. You will know various features of data frames. We will create the data frames using list, dictionary, series, NumPy, ND, array and other data frames. Even you can create a data frame from dictionary of series, from list of dictionaries and from text or CSV files. Then we will display the data frame also, and various attributes of data frames also learned after completing this session. Now what is a data frame? Data frame is nothing but it is a two-dimensional structure. When we say two-dimensional structure means the things are arranged in a table-like fashion, and which it is in terms of rows and columns. So it is arrangement of data in a tabular way. There are various features of data frames, like the columns of this data frame are of different types. We can store different values in the columns. The size is mutable. We can change the size later on. We can add any number of rows. We can add any number of columns. You can delete rows or columns. So size is mutable. And there are two labeled axes, rows and columns, where rows is axis 0 and column is axis 1. Then we can perform various arithmetic operations on rows and columns. And to find out the total number of elements of a 2D array, that is our data frame, we have to multiply the rows with the columns. Now coming to the structure of my data frames, this is a table-like structure in which we are having different values like name, age, gender and marks as my column, as my headings of this table. So these are known as actually the columns. So columns are at axis 1, name, age, gender and marks. Similarly, these horizontal entries which are labeled by 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, these are known as rows, and these 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 are known as row indexes, that is axis 0. Now all these values which are stored in this table like Simran 18, F 81.20, this is known as the data of my data frame. So if you see, all the columns are having different data. It is storing, the name is storing strings, age is storing an integer, gender is storing a single character, and marks is storing a decimal value, that is float value. Now basic requirements to start with Pandas is we have to have Pandas library installed. So whenever we are installing Python, ideally we have to install this Python Pandas library separately. It is not along with my Python ideally. So during installation of Python ideally, just take care of one thing, that this checkbox add Python 3.82 path, this should be checked before you proceed in the installation, because otherwise we are facing the path issue there, and then any of the Python libraries which we are installing using pip command is not able to install. So this is to be checked, then you proceed with your Python installation. And after completing the installation of IDLE, then on the command prompt we simply write pip install pandas. If you see, I put up a screenshot here. Now under this root directory C user Vandana, we have written pip install pandas. So this command is to be written, then all the Python libraries are being extracted to your system, and you will have successfully installed pandas as well as NumPy both along with this. So after this only we will able to work with the pandas commands. Now creation of data frame. The data frame is created by various inputs. We can create a data frame with a list also, with a dictionary also, with a series also, with a NumPy ND array also, and another data frame also. So all these are to be used as inputs to my data frame. So if we have any of the structure of this type, we can easily create a data frame. Now the general syntax of a creation of a Python pandas data frame is using this constructor method we are creating, that this is pandas.dataFrame is the method used for this. Then all these data, index, column, dtype, copy are the parameters. So these parameters are used to specify various features while creating a database. And before doing the coding part, since we've already installed the pandas, so import pandas as PD. This library should be imported in my code window, and this PD is the alias name for my pandas library. Similarly, we have to import numpy as NP if we are working with numpy ND arrays. If you are creating a data frame using a ND array, that time you have to import this file also. Now pandas.data frame, we'll discuss these parameters one by one. The data is, we have seen various types of input, whether it is a list, series, ND array, dictionary, constant, or another data frame. Columns are actually the column labels. So if we have specified the column labels, it's fine. If we are not specifying, by default it will take the column labels as np.arrangeN. This arrangeN will generate if I am having 4 columns. So the column indexes are generated as 0, 1, 2, 3. Similarly, indexes for row labels. Again, if you specify row labels, it's fine. Otherwise, it will generate it by np.arrangeN. So again, row labels are also generated at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. The D type will display the data type of each and every column separately. And copy command is used for copying the data. By default, it is false. Now creating an empty data frame. The first command I have told you, we have to always write import pandas as PD to include this pandas library in my code, and this PD is a alias name. So instead of writing pandas everywhere, we use this PD. So like this is df is a data frame object. We have written pd.data frame and not providing any input, not providing any parameters. So since empty, these brackets are empty, no parameters are there. So if we print df, it is results me an empty data frame where columns are also shown blank and indexes are also shown blank. So this kind of output we are getting on the screen. Now this code I have written on Jupyter Notebooks. It is accompanied with my Anaconda package manager, which is having all my Python libraries. So once you have Anaconda, we are not separately installing any of the Python libraries with the pip install statement. So if you are working with this, so there is no need to install pandas separately. It is automatically coming with the Anaconda Jupyter Notebooks. Now creating a data frame from a list. So again writing this first command, import pandas as PD. Now this is a list. We all know that list is enclosed inside the square brackets, and these are the various elements of my list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it is stored under object data. When creating a data frame from this list, we simply write df is equal. So this df is the data frame object, pd.data frame data. So this list is passed as the input. We have studied that we will create a data frame with the help of list, dictionary, series. So this is the input here. In this case, my input is this list 1, 2, 3, 4 we are passing here. Then once you are printing this data frame, we are having this kind of structure. Now since we are not specifying any of the other attributes here, like we are not specifying columns, we are not specifying index, so there is no row and column labels passed here. By default, pandas library will create the column and rows indexes automatically, like 0 here and here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are my row indexes and these are my column index 0. Now we can create the data frame by a nested list also. So here I am creating a nested list. Data is equals to, the first list is having 1 Anush, second list is having 2 Faria, third is having 3 Lakshay. And again the same syntax. This is data frame object df is equals to pd.data frame, passing this data as my input, and column values are RNO and name. That means this time I am specifying the column labels. So my labels are now roll number and name. Let's see what output I am getting here. So if you see, this roll number and name becomes now the column labels. Since I am not specifying index here, so 0, 1, 2 is by default, it is generating the row indexes, and all these values are stored accordingly. The roll numbers are under the heading RNO and the name is under the heading name. So this column parameter is assigning the column headings to each column. Creating a data frame from dictionary of ND arrays or list. So we are creating a dictionary here by name data. Here the keys are RNO and name. So roll number is storing values that is inside my list. There are certain values 1, 2, 3, 4. Similarly, name is also storing a list. that is Anuj, Fareha, Lakshya and Ricky. Now to convert it again, we have the same syntax. DF, the data frame object, is equals to PD dot, PD is the alias name for pandas library, dot data frame method, and passing the input as data. Now here we are passing the input as dictionary, and now specifying the indexes as student 1, student 2, student 3, student 4. That means here I am specifying the row labels now. So let's see the output. Now if you see the output, these row labels are now student 1, 2, 3, 4, which I specified here, automatically comes as the row labels. And one more important thing, when we are creating a data frame with a dictionary, the dictionary keys are like roll number and name. These dictionary keys will automatically take the place of the column labels. So we are not giving the columns separately here, since we are using a dictionary. So roll number and names will take the place of those column labels. Now there are certain things we have to keep in mind while working with ND arrays or list, that they are of the same length. When we are taking multiple lists here under my dictionary, they all are of the same length. If the index is passed, then index is also passed with, which is equals to the length of the values. So length of the index, like I have taken as the index as student 1, student 2, student 3, student 4, because we are having in list, we are having 4 values, 1, 2, 3, 4, or Anuj, Fareha, Lakshya and Ricky. So the index is also having, the length of my index label is also same as the length of the array. And if no index is passed, if you are not passing any index, we know the index is taken as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is range function with argument n. So dictionary keys are by default taken as column names, and index parameter assigns the row labels. Now creating a data frame from a dictionary of series. So if we see again, we are taking dictionary here, but inside my dictionary it is a key value pair, so values are now series. So pd.series function is used to convert this list into a series. So we are finding a series here with the name and specifying indexes as A, B, C, D. Similarly for marks also we are writing this. There are 3 values, 74.5, 67.9 and 78.9, and the indexes 3 values I have taken, which we studied in the previous slide. So 3 indexes I have to create. So the indexes are A, B, C. Now once we change this data into a data frame, same syntax, df is equals to pd.data frame, and this data is passed as input. And when you print this data frame, let's see what comes up here. Now there is one more thing which you have to take in mind, that there are 4 indexes A, B, C, D when we are writing the names. So for names in A, B, C, D, all the 4 names are being stored. This is Anmol, Bhavya, Divya and Daniel. But once we talk about the marks, we have passed only 3 values. So these 3 values are stored as A, B, C, but we have not passed the D label here. So what comes up in D label? It is automatically store NaN. This NaN stands for not a number. So if any value is missing in any particular list, automatically N is being appended over there. Now creating a data frame from list of dictionaries. So this is a list. Inside this I am creating one dictionary having roll number 11, name Ashu, marks 90.5. Another dictionary, roll number 15, name Bhumi, marks 85.6. One more dictionary, roll number 17, name Manas and marks 72.5. So this is my list of dictionaries. And the method, again we are converting it in data frame. df is equals to data frame object is equals to pd my python pandas, alias name of pandas library, pd dot data frame. This data is passed as the input here now, and indexes we store as s1, s2, s3. So when we print this data frame, we get the same output. Now here if you find again my keys of dictionary, roll number, name and marks, they will take the place of column headings, and these index which we specify by the index parameter s1, s2, s3 are my row indexes now. So we can easily create the rows and column indexes by using the column and index parameters, and if dictionary, then automatically keys are used as the column headings. Now creating a data frame from list of dictionaries. Again the same thing, but here what we are doing, for one of my dictionary we are missing the marks. Like for this third dictionary, roll number 17, name, Manas, and marks are not there. So column headings we can specify here, roll number, name and marks. And once you print this data frame, see, the order we are specifying here, the same order it is following. So roll number, name and marks, it gives me the output in the same manner. And since we are not specifying this time the index parameter, so it will take it as 0, 1 and 2. And the feature which we'll see, that if any value is missing, since marks are missing with this Manas here, marks are not there. So what it is doing, it is storing NaN for Manas. Because we know if any values are not being passed, then NaN is automatically appended at that place. Now creating dictionaries using a nested dictionary. A nested dictionary is one. If we will see this example here, we are creating 4 dictionaries, year 15, year 16, year 17, year 18, and individually in each dictionary we are keeping the sales of 4 quarters. So Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 are the keys, and these 5500, 6700, 5380, 7300 is the sales in that quarter. So these are the values. Now creating the dictionary sales here and taking the keys now 2015, 16, 17 and 18 and using these dictionaries as values now. So this is my nested dictionary. A dictionary created inside a dictionary is a nested dictionary. Again, to create it as a data frame, we will write down df is equals to pd.dataframe sales, and then when we display it, now again an important thing, all the inner dictionaries have the same keys. If you will observe, every dictionary is having Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. So whenever the similar keys are there, we get the output in this way. So if you will see, all the outer keys means 2015, 2016, 2017 and 2018. They will take the place of the columns here. So these are the columns here, 2015, 16, 17 and 18. And all the inner keys, which are this Q1, Q2, Q3 and Q4, all these are taken as the row labels here. So these are my row labels here. So this way we can easily understand that whenever we are using the nested dictionary, the outer keys are the column labels and the inner keys are the row labels. Proceeding further, so these 2015, 16, 17, 18 outer keys are the column names and Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 are the row indexes. Now if the same nested dictionary we are using and the keys are not similar, okay, like either quarter 1, quarter 2, here we have written QTR3 then quarter 4. So this key value is not matching. Similarly here quarter 1, this key value is not matching. So what happened to my output here, all this dissimilar keys, inner keys will take the column labels separately. So we are having more number of row labels here and column labels are the outer keys, so no change in there. 2015, 16, 17, 18 comes up as it is. And if you will see what all values are missing for a row, so this quarter 3 is only defined in year 15. Okay, so 2015 only quarter 3 value is there, QTR3. So quarter 3 comes up with my first 2015 dictionary. So entry is there, but then there is no entry in Q3. So this Q3 is automatically replaced by NaN. So for all the missing entries here, NaN, you will find so many NaNs here because all the missing entries are appended by NaN. Here 2018 also we have written QTR1. So Q1 is not there. So since in Q1 no entry is there, so NaN is appended. Similarly for year 17, quarter 3 Q3 is not there. So 2007-3 Q3 is not there. So it is having a NaN key. So all the missing data is appended by the NaN. So total number of rows here are the sum of all unique inner indexes and all the blank entries are replaced by NaN values. Now creating a data frame from another data frame. So this is a nested list which we are taking. So I am creating a data frame from this list So similar syntax, df is equals to pd dot data frame. Now data is passed as input, and now column headings we are giving as name and age. Printing this first data frame. Now when we create the second data frame, we simply pass on this data frame object as the input. So df2 is equals to pd dot data frame, and this df is passed as the input here. So once we print it, this is the output of my first data frame, and since we are creating the second data frame as it is using the first one, so similar values are in the second data frame. We have not specified, only specified the column headings here, so name and age is column labels coming up, and no index value is specified, that is why row indexes are 0, 1, 2. Now creating a data frame from text or CSV file. This CSV stands for comma separated value files, and this is a very common file format when we are transferring or storing data online. It is basically used by data scientists as these files are having the lesser space on a drive. The basic process of loading a data from a CSV file into Pandas data frame is with the help of a function that is read underscore CSV. So we will see how can we use the read underscore CSV function. So whichever file you want to use as CSV file to convert it to a data frame, it should be stored in the same directory where my Python file is storing, where this program code is storing. So we simply write data is equals to pd.read CSV. So this Pandas alias name pd is used to read that CSV file. Now student.csv is my file storing in the same folder where this Python code is written, and this file contains the details of student marks. And converting it to data frame, the same syntax, def is data frame object, pd.data frame, passing this data, that CSV file which we read, it is stored in this object data that we are passing over here. And once you print it out, we will have this structure. So this student.csv is actually having my data of students having roll number, name, class and marks, and automatically it will take that data, storing it into this object data. And once I will convert it with the help of data frame, we have this kind of structure. Now data frame attributes. There are various attributes and they helps us to do many functions on the data frame. Like index will return me all the row indexes, row labels. Column returns me all the column labels. Axis returns me both the row labels as well as column labels. D type will return me only the data types. So data types of each and every column. And size will return me the total number of elements in that particular data frame. Shape is returning the rows and columns dimensions. So dimension means how many rows, how many columns, row values first and then column values. So like 3, 2, 3 rows and 2 columns, this way. Then values will return me a numpy array of the data frame values and empty. If my data frame is not having any entry, this empty will return me true answer. But if my data frame is having any entry, this empty returns me false. And T is for transpose. The rows are converted to columns and the columns are converted to rows. Let's see it through a programming example. We are creating a data frame here with the dictionary, and dictionary contains various lists inside it. So it is a dictionary of lists. And converting same method df1, it is a data frame object, pd.data frame, passing this data dictionary onto this and generating or printing my data frame. Now see, to get the row indexes we have written df1.index. So all these attributes we access by the dot operator with the data frame object name. Similarly, for column indexes df1.column, for axis df1.axis, and for type df1.data types. So this is the output. If we'll see, look, this data frame is printed over here. This is my complete data frame printed here. Then df1 index. So it is showing me the indexes here. Since row index is not specified here, so it is taking the row indexes automatically as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these indexes are now shown as output here. So it is showing me start 0, stop 5, step 1. So stop value is actually dropped. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 row indexes are being stored, displayed here. Similarly, df1 columns will give me column indexes. So we know my dictionary keys are roll number, name and marks. So automatically these are taken as roll number, name and marks as the column indexes. Then axis will return me both the row index as well as the column index. So this df1 axis will return me this output, both the row index as well as the column. Then df1 type will return me the individual data types. Like roll number is an integer here, so all 11, 12, 13, 14 integer entries. Name is a object here, you are storing a string, that is object, and marks is again an integer entry, 90, 77. So individually it is showing me the data type of each column. Now coming to the other attributes, we are having df1.size, df1.shape, df1.values and df1.empty. Let's see the output, and one is df1.transpose. Let's see the output of this. Now if we will see this df1 size, it will display me total elements. So this is my output. How this comes up? We are having 3 rows, roll number, name and marks, and we are having 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. So 5 rows multiplied by 3 columns. So we are getting the output as 15. So size will give me the total elements in my data frame. Shape will return me the dimension. So since we have seen we are having 5 rows and 3 columns, so it returns me 5, 3. Now df1 values will return me numpy nd arrays. So all the entries here, but in terms of numpy nd array. And df1 empty, it returns me false, because here data frame is having the values. So we will get a false answer for this. And df1 transpose, see, very interesting thing here, transpose is converting rows into columns and columns into rows. So these are my columns, roll number, name and marks. Now they become the row here. And similarly 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, these are the column row labels, now which are converted as column headings now, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are all attributes of the data frame. Now coming to accessing the elements of a data frame, to access the elements of a data frame, we pass the list of column labels. So we simply pass out print df1 roll number and name. So once you pass a list over there, it is automatically picking up only the roll number and name column. So we are having 3 columns, roll number, name and marks, but it only displays me roll number and name. So using list of column labels, we simply get the selected columns. Now to access the single element of a data frame, there is a method, that is AT. It is again a attribute of data frame, and IAT. So value at that location. So it is by the name of the AT is used when we are using the row or column label, and IAT is used when we are taking their integer position. Let's see through the programming example. We are creating the data frame first. Then here we are writing df1 AT s1 marks. So student 1 marks, it will df1 AT means from that place you pick up what is at this place, s1 marks. So it will give me the single answer. Similarly for IAT we have to specify 1 and 2. We are not specifying the labels here, we specify the integer positions. So if we will see, it is s1 marks. So s1 marks, this is s1, this is marks. So s1 marks means 90. So you are getting 90 as answer, and since we are saying it is 1 and 2, so we know these labels are 0, 1 and this is 2, and this is again 0, 1 and this is 2. So when we are doing 1, 2, so 1, 2 means this is my 1 complete row and this is my 2. So we talk about this 77 here. So you get answer as 77. So actually this locations are being shown over here, that this first location is 0, 0. It is intersection of rows and columns. Then second is again 0 and 1. So 0, 1, 0, 2. So this way, by the integer position we can get the value accessed at that particular place. So to access a single element we will use either AT or IAT. Now to access multiple elements we are using the LOC or IOLOC. These two things we are covering in detail in a next session. So that is why, to just see its syntax, we will see df1.loc, df1. Here we can even specify some column condition also, like if you want to display the marks of those students, details of those students whose marks are more than 70, and we want to display what, names and marks. So here we are writing the label and then we are printing the labels, that those column labels. But when we are using ILOC, then condition you are checking by df1 marks more than 70 is okay, and when you are extracting the values, that time we have to specify the column labels. So this kind of output we are having. it is result is marks more than 70, you are displaying name and marks. So name and marks, both columns are displayed for the student whose marks are more than 70. So it is 90 and 77. This S3 record is not taken. So S1 and S2 in the answer. But once we are specifying 0, 1, 2, then all these three columns are being accessed here. So this is what in detail we are learning this LOC and ILOC further also. So to get LOC we have to specify only the labels, and when we are using the ILOC we have to specify the index position, integer positions. Thanks. These are the certain links which are provided to you for more detailed studies. There are more syntaxes also and more examples are given here. Hope you enjoy this session. Thank you very much.